And we are back here once again with another episode of the Cloud9 podcast, season 11, episode 7. So, when we do the Thursday episode for the Cloud9 podcast, which will be, 7 PST, which is 10 EST for you guys on the East Coast. Then we will have gone through several of the best of 3 series for the 2024 midseason invitational. So, in this episode of the Cloud9 podcast, we will be going over our, expectations for the LCS and the LEC at the MSI 2024 tournament this year. And we will be doing our own MSI 2024 team tier list. So, just wanted to let you guys know this about the 2024 MSI this year is that we will be having no best of ones. We will be having nothing but best of threes and best of fives. And then we will also have obviously lower brackets as well. So basically there's play-ins and then there's the lower bracket as well. And then after that, it's just best of threes. After that, it's just best of fives with the lower bracket as well. Basically, very similar to what the major regions have as far as format. When you look at as far as like LEC, LCS, LCK, and LPL, with the latter, the LPL is actually adopting a new format coming up for 2024 LPL summer, actually. So really exciting that MSI continues to be this good. I really enjoyed MSI last year. Actually, I really enjoyed the format. Like I've been talking about this for a long time. I really wanted, these tournaments to start having lower brackets. Eventually in my mind, they're hopefully they'll do lower brackets for Worlds, but maybe at the Esports World Cup later on, this year, or I think that might be next year. They'll have lower brackets as well. Last year we had BLG glow up in the lower bracket as well, taking out basically the title contenders in really dominant fashion. Actually, will we get that this year? I don't know, but it's going to be worth talking about. And I just want to say thank you to every single person who watches the show live, or if you can only catch the replay. And if you are a returning viewer or new viewer, then please, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this episode of the Cloud9 podcast if you enjoyed it, and comment down below. Also, turn on that notification bell. That way, you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And also, make sure to, as always, have fun and enjoy the rest of your day, morning, or afternoon, whenever you catch Cloud9 podcast. And join me in this episode of the Cloud9 podcast to talk about the MSI 2024 teams and the tier list and LCS and LEC expectations. Mr. Blank, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. But I disagree with you about lower bracket of world. The whole thing, when I look at World, I look at it as like the final tournament. They don't like in NBA. There's no best of one, or I mean lower bracket. You lose, you're out. That's how I feel like Worlds should be. Because, like, let's be honest, MSI don't really. I mean, it counts, but who really gives a fuck about MSI? Like, really?
Well, it's an international tournament. I hope you care about it if you're there.
But Worlds is the one that's like that's the Mets legend. MSI is like, oh, you win, but it's like that's how I look at it. I look at tournaments like those. They should be you win or you go home. Every round.
I think the fact that because for NBA and NFL, those are physical sports, so obviously you can't do lower brackets. It's just too taxing on the body. These guys are playing at the computers, Plus, every esports tournament, the Counter Strikes, they all had lower brackets. Fighting tournaments have all had lower brackets. I know Melee and Smash Brothers for sure. I've always had lower brackets.
But actually. Like no, I'm being honest. They're not as popular as League of Legends when it comes to that shit. It's like talking about in a sense where the people outside that realm talk about it. It's like not really. It's the whole
like
thing.
Smash. I mean, we're not. I'm not.
It
I mean,
used
it
it
really just
used
depends on
to
if you're in that scene. Like, if you're
it
not around that
used
scene, then
to
you won't probably care.
it, it used to like be like, oh, should people give me about Smash? The way I look at double limb, it's like you're giving someone who already got knocked out another chance to win. I'm like, nah, you have one chance to win. That's how I see it. It's like when you put double limb in worlds, it's like a team that got knocked out because they weren't prepared come back and could win. That's bullshit, in my opinion. Like,
I don't know. It really just depends on like. I always see it as if that team is better than them, they could just win again. I
but
don't
guess
really see a
what?
problem with that.
If they are better, then they should beat them that time. It doesn't
Yeah, but
matter.
League doesn't work like that. It
But
works basically off of like if you. It's not even about preparation. You know, there's so many
but it is
variables to
about
League.
preparation. It's a competition. You're the one thing you're always supposed to be prepared. That's why you have multiple games to get prepared. Okay, you're not prepared game one. All right, cool. You got game two. You got game three to get prepared. And
Yeah.
that's the thing
Because
about
then
when
by
people.
that, then everything should just be just one round, you're out. Then if we go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Regionals, if you lose that first round, you're out. So even if you drove like 3 hours to that event, if you lose that very first round, you're out. That would be just not worth it, you know? Like
No, but no. I'm telling you why you're wrong about that. Because those are not double E limbs. Those are a bracket thing where you have to
they're
stack a
essentially
matter.
double limbs. If you lose 2 rounds, you're
No, they're
out.
not.
Essentially.
No. Double elim, the way double elim are structured, the way Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments are, you have to stack a certain amount of wins and points in order to qualify for a certain ranking. There's like
Yeah, but if you lose 2 of the rounds going in, you might as well just be out by that point, unless you're just gonna go straight undefeated. You
you
know?
can, but the thing is, there's no double elim because you're trying to place because in League of Legends, there's only one winner and everybody else doesn't get no prize.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the difference between Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like, all right, cool. I need a certain amount of wins within a certain amount of games. That's if I lose, you don't really go to a lower bracket. You just go to, in a sense.
Well, yeah, I forgot. It's not exactly like a lower
it's
bracket,
not a lower bracket.
But if you lose twice, essentially you are out. Like
essentially, it's much tougher. You're not out a lot. And there's
like
so much.
If you go 0-2, man, you'll be on the bubble, and you probably won't be getting
on
your
the bubble, and people can still. You know, people have one loss, and I've seen people go 7-1-1 and bubble out. I've seen in Pokemon people have 2 losses. Like they, if 15 rounds go 12, was it 12, 1 and 2? No, sorry, or 12, 2
12
to 1
wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 37 points and bubble out. Like I
forgot.
said,
Well, it also depends on wherever you're at regionals. It also depends on how many rounds it is too.
And that's the thing too.
Given how where bumfuck were you at?
But
how many rounds
don't forget, those are also about opponents. Like saying you're like when you play League, you're like now they structured it where if you win 1-0, you go get somebody that's 1-0. And Yu-Gi-Oh's the same way, but the one slight difference. It's like, okay, you go 0-2, you still have a chance. In a sense, it kind of is a double elim, but not everyone's aiming to be the first place. You're aiming to get to a point structure. That's why you know what my, like, how you put it. You know where you have to cap at. League of Legends, if you're not first, you're done.
Well, what I'm saying is, I've always thought there's no reason why esport tournaments, they've always ran this way. They've always been double elimination for the most part.
But I look at them, I'm like, it cheapens them because I'm like, wait a second.
Like even Counter-Strike is that way. And Counter-Strike is a huge. Counter-Strike is insanely big, actually.
But
Counter-Strike double elims too. Counter-Strike have multiple big events like Worlds a year. The majors are like considered their Worlds. They have multiple majors a year. The winners that win, people think that they're the best team that won. They have double elimination too. Really just like, depends on how that person values the win. Because
if you get knocked out and win, all right, cool, you're cool. But it's like at times there's people like there should like the argument gets put up. Oh, there shouldn't be a double limit because that team wasn't prepared the first time. It's one of those things where it's like if you give second team a chance, you're giving them more opportunities to play again. I'm like it should be one and done in a sense.
I've always thought about
tournament structure.
Yeah, I've always thought about it in different varied ways. So like, if someone is not as good, it will eventually show out. It
Yeah,
will. That's how it works. In most competitions, you know that. You've been competing long as I have. If someone's
yeah.
not good, eventually they're going to get exposed, actually.
Because
You
it's the
know?
whole thing with Worlds last year. Even if there was WWE win, it's like, do you really want to
Honestly,
see?
would you not have been hyped to see a double elimination format at Worlds? Would you not be hyped to see
No,
the best teams play?
I'm gonna tell you why I won, because part of me would be like, if this team wins, but I saw them choke before and they get time to play again, there's gonna be part of me being like, this is not a real champion. There's gonna be part of me deep down like, it's. I'll look at them like, really. It's one of those things, like someone kind of remember last year we had the same argument, someone about T1. I was like, if T1 came a troll that day and lost, then they trolled a loss. You know, teams troll and lose. I'm like, that's why you always have to take it seriously, even when the opponent is a joke. You always have to take it seriously.
No, I'm not saying the teams are going to troll or take jokes. The thing here is, I like seeing the better teams play more than once. These teams barely meet up throughout the year. The league is different because the teams barely meet up. We only have 2 international. Okay, outside of this year, it's going to be an outlier when we have more. But for the most part, the league has only ever had 2 international events. These guys barely meet up and face each other. Barely ever do. You know, I want them to play more than once at least. We have 2 international events a year.
But guess what? I like these teams coming out the first time and putting it all out. Like
if we're gonna have more than one international tournament, then I'll probably be like, okay, probably just keep them at single. In playoffs, keep it single. But for the most part,
even in playoffs, I'm like, it's like even structure. It's like, I look at it, I'm like, damn, T1, they abused the fuck out of the double elim system, because what if there was a double elim system?
Well, then what you're talking about right there is adaptation. Like, if a team can adapt that well and actually adjust to their opponents, I think that's also another really great thing too.
Honestly. But that also, in my eyes, is a negative, because it's like, I don't want to give nobody any more time to prepare. I feel like if I knock you out the first time, you're done. In my eye, like when it comes to that tournament structure, it's not like in Yu-Gi-Oh! If I beat you, I might have to face you again if we get to Swiss, or if we get to up around, because the Pokemon, when you lose, you get faced against people that have the same record, and that's how it works. It's like because I think the only Pokemon game that has double elim is I want to say is Pokemon Go, and that's because of variants.
I'm just saying, it's like, do people really care about Pokemon Go like that? Actually, they do. That's the
they do.
Really do.
Like,
Pokemon Go is actually very popular.
I remember one time somebody's phone disconnected and stuff, and then they had but it was some weird shit. It's like, I don't.
All right,
yeah.
Let's go over MSI 2024 team tier list. So most people are going to be here probably just for this, honestly. That's why I didn't do it initially. I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun with this. So I put some tiers here. I don't want to put like SA, all basic shit like most people do. I like to kind of, have some fun with it. Title contenders, almost a title contender. Okay, decent, or about tomato, coin flip, worthless, and then actual dog shit. All right, so let's start with regions I know for sure I barely even watch. I saw like half of a best of 5. PSG talent. I don't really know the roster they have. Like last year, they actually did okay in that a world's playing stage. Actually, almost got out. I thought they actually looked pretty legit. Obviously, that's not going to translate this year. Obviously, I've not really watched them as much or at all. Only really just like saw a few games in the finals. Actually, they're usually always decent for the most part. But then again, it really depends on who they're facing. Actually, so let me go over to Wikipedia and see who are they going to be facing. Because people factor in. The play-ins at this time around works a little different. This is a best of 3 this time around. It's not. There's best of 3s last time, but these are from pretty strong teams coming in right now. So we have MSI right here. Let's go best of 3s, tier 2. All right, so the first round, T1 starts it off first. FlyQuest. NA starts first. FlyQuest versus PSG Talent. I'm gonna have the rosters showed right here. That way we can remember who's on them. Actually, PSG Talent. Oh, this is the same roster, essentially. Woody, Betty. Betty was on Flash Wolves. I remember who Betty is. There's Maple, Junjia. This is basically the same roster from last year, essentially. Against FlyQuest. Okay, all right. So let's put this over here. Because I don't know how the tournament structure is going to pan out for them. when they potentially win or lose against FlyQuest. If they actually beat FlyQuest, I'm just saying, FlyQuest are automatically in the losers bracket. That's pretty telling.
Yep.
Yeah, that means they're about to be. If it's an imagine if it's an NA speed run already. Just imagine that an NA speed run in the first round. That would be funny. PSG Talon, I don't know. They might be decent.
They're decent.
They usually are decent as far as like a team at the tournament.
Yeah.
All right. Loud. I'll be honest here. I only saw the finals. Loud. Goodness gracious, got away with murder in that finals.
They're worthless.
That jungler is trash. That jungler they have is actual just dog shit. How the fuck is Robo winning titles in 2024? Explain it to me, Lucy. All right. What else we got here? What else is dog shit? All the wild card region. I'll be honest with anyone. Every wild card fucking.
Oh no, game is actual dog shit because half their team suspended because of that, betting shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just have Mexico.
And Straw not even bringing their best team, but R7 got fucked. That's me. Yeah.
That's what Chaz wanted. He got he had Summit, not an MSI. He was like, I just want someone to sit at home, actually think about what he's done.
Yep.
Everyone. The only person I remember from those rosters, Jose Diodo. He's been on FlyQuest actually, but he went back to Mexico because he already got the bag and was basically just running it here. I'll be honest, guys. Most wildcard teams suck. Like, can we stop doing that? When people think they're gonna be up? There's never an upset with these people. It's never gonna happen again. Okay, the last one we had, what was like Gam versus fucking Top Esports at Worlds 2022, and that was like pure luck because it was a bug in the champion. Like pure actual luck.
Yes.
That was the last upset we had. Most of the time, wildcard teams are straight up dog shit. Remember last year?
What about Gam versus Team Liquid?
Remember last year where Croco, Loud's jungler, forgot to buy items?
Yeah. That's win trading. You do that, that's all win trading right there. I'm like, I gotta check your bank account right now, sir.
God, man. Oh, and I know people are gonna bring up that argument too. Well, Gambit, Team Liquid, on average, NA kind of just clobbers most of these wildcard teams too. Yeah, okay. Every once in a while, because that's going to happen in the law of average people. Every once in a while, they're going to get an upset. It's just how kind of like sports work. But on average, NA, EU, not most EU, NA, LPL, and LCK usually just beat the absolute living daylights out of these fucking teams. They're not good. Even if they had their main roster for GAM, they're not good. These guys have been good in ages. Levi is just coasting. What is an NBA player you can think who's just been coasting on a fucking org forever because he's just name value and that's it, but his actual gameplay doesn't show up,
NBA player?
Yeah, like an NFL player that's just coasting. He's just not as good as he used to be, but he's just there because, he's the only attractive player that can get people on the fucking team,
Josh Allen. I bet say that. Josh Allen,
who's the person I can think of? God
for
damn.
Basketball, there's a shit ton of
who's coaching on the Lakers that I can think of? Well, geez,
no, Lakers won the championship. No, I'm trying to see somebody.
No, I was trying to think of like a recent Laker player that is just coasting on there. Honestly, fuck.
D'Angelo Russell,
probably. I was gonna say Anthony Davis, but no, it's like the
only player on the team. No, he's actually killing it. Oh,
you think Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers?
I'll say Kevin Durant. He just been on. He's out here. He forced himself out of Brooklyn, went to a shittier team.
I know you don't talk
Kawhi
about the whole. I know you don't talk about the whole the Celtics thing, but that one dude they used to have, Jason. Fucking hell,
Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Oh no,
he was never coasting. He was just really overrated, honestly.
Oh no, overrated like a motherfucker. And they don't get to
the. Talking about that guy like he was the second coming of Kobe. I'm like, bro, y'all is tripping.
Yeah, his favorite player was Kobe. He wanted to be a Laker, get that to the Celtics. That's how it happened.
Hell yeah, that's how it goes.
Think about it. Kobe wanted to be a Sixer, got drafted by the Lakers.
Fun fact: Kobe actually wanted to leave the Lakers after their championship in 2010. He did not like the rosters that they were putting together.
No, he wanted to leave in 2006. Technically, not 2010. It was 2006. 2007. He initially wanted to get traded to Chicago like his favorite player, Michael. That didn't happen. They kept him. Lakers almost got Kevin Garnett instead of Boston.
That's crazy.
That could have been another 3P. That almost happened, but they ended up getting Paul Gasol for a bag of peanuts.
Man, Kevin Garnett, holy crap, man, that's a name I ain't heard in forever.
Yeah,
God, damn.
Lakers almost got Kevin Garnett, but the Timberwolves winning too much. And then the Lakers traded the Grizzlies for Paul Gasol. The Grizzlies got hoes. They got some. The Grizzlies. I'm not just trading a Ferrari for a bag of peanuts and 2 cans of Arizona. That's what happened.
Are the can of peanuts these wild card teams? Because that's what these guys are.
Yeah, because one of the players that got traded was apparently tied to a gang and then got put in jail like 3 years later. On some hood shit. This nigga was a Mansfield gangster crip or something.
Oh my god!
He was out here actually calling niggas to get hit, not in the NBA in the streets.
Yeah.
This nigga went backwards. How do you make millions and then decide to become a crip? And you supposed to be a crip first, leave the game.
I think that's the opposite of rags to riches. Aren't you supposed to be like poor and rich?
Riches to rags. You supposed to be a crip gang member. Almost get shot like Ricky, but dodge. Don't get shot like Ricky. Make it to college. Fuck a white girl. And then make the money. How you fuck the white girl first and then you became a crip? What? Okay, that's working ass backwards.
Well, for Loud, I know there's a lot of Brazilian fans out there. I love Brazilian girls. I met a Brazilian girl before online. Oh my god, that white girl was just like, her ass was just amazing. Man, she was just beautiful. But I like you women out there, Brazilians. Your team is booty. This team is actual just shit. How T-Nones is still doing it, I don't know. But my god, they got away with such murder in that finals. Like you think like these guys would get better over the years? They're just not. Even with subs, last year Gam was terrible. Remember Gingy game against Gam last year? That was a fucking fisting. That's like Adriana Chedick flipping her body over and just getting absolutely just fucking fisted. It was actual awful. I'm not gonna gas up. I don't know how people still think like, man, they're just STRL Esports might actually upset T1. Do you really think that? Do you actually really think that? Even if they win a game, I guarantee you that shit is on some like, all right, I guess, cool. Now we just beat the fuck out of you the next 2 games, show you who's daddy. You know, let's be honest here. The games against T1 are gonna be like, oh, this is like kind of close for like 20 minutes, and then this is just an ass fucking.
Yep.
And then the next game is just a complete blowout.
A matter of fact, no T1. They might just come out with the lube on the first date and say bend over at the table. Shit.
Oh no, not the lube. Good lord.
Yeah, the water lube. That shit will be everywhere. Just squirt it right in your butt.
Just put it in me, daddy.
You need help.
You would do that to Lennon, don't you? I hate this guy. This guy is like, I break up with Lennon. He was like, hey man, yeah, your ex is pretty hot. What? Hello?
I will break her in half, man. No.
All right, we'll save LPL and LCK for last. Let's do FlyQuest is gonna. Let's do LCS then.
LCS, yep.
Where do you want to put FlyQuest at? I think they're decent. I guess
they're better than PSG, but barely.
Yeah, I think people are going to be really surprised with how bad Masu and Busio are going to look. Actually, if Woody from last year was actually pretty good, I think he was actually better than Stixay. I think, well, actually, most of the wildcard aces were better than Stixay. I think Woody might actually just play a lot more better than people are expecting. Busio and Masu, they better just take a weak side bot lane because they are the weakest point of FlyQuest. I'm just saying that right now. FlyQuest are good, like just in the LCS. They're going to live and die by their bot lane. The top side maybe can make it happen. Junjia, basically, from what I've always seen from him from most international events, kind of plays like Inspired. So hopefully that's not something where he's going to be having super trouble with. But yeah, for FlyQuest for most of the tournament, I think they're just going to be decent. You know, this is their first ever international event as an organization. So keep in mind, they've been around since 2017, as long as Gen G for the most part. And this is their first ever international event. They're going to learn today. Woo. Oh, Lord. Team Liquid. Where are they going to be at?
I see okay. But
yeah, they'll probably be okay.
Okay.
I guess they'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at their players and you're like, if APA and Yon can have their like LCS playoffs glow up at MSI, who knows? there might be a chance to make the finals. Yeah. And I get my dad in my life. Yeah, not happening. But I will say, if they can actually just not get shit stomped, blown out their ass, completely clapped, because AP, I know he wants to face off against Faker again. I know he does.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure TL's going to be on the other side of the bracket, actually. Where's everyone else at? I guess it's not updated yet.
No, it's not updated yet. They have to, because their whole thing is they don't want to put the same teams on the same side of the bracket. Because
yeah.
Okay. The way one of the commentators, I think they leaked up the script. I think it's good. I think in the final 8 teams, it's just going to be the 4 major regions.
Probably is, honestly.
Like, the only upset is whoever PSG has to go through. That's the only upset.
I think the biggest hope for Team Liquid right now is just honestly impact. Because I'll be honest with you guys, Core JJ, even when they were playing well in the LCS playoffs and they had their like glow up and everything, he was still looking like he was boosted as fuck. Just saying. Yeah. He was this old man missing rel hooks, rel engages, Nautilus hooks, Nautilus engages. It's about to be rough out there. I'm only going to pretty much put them at OKs because I think they're just better than whatever fucking dog shit this is down here, honestly. All right, that's for LCS. It's over. Now we're going to go to LEC. The weakest LEC team is just Fnatic. Fnatic, I don't know how people are overrating this team. They're not good. Like, say you didn't watch the split, or say you didn't watch Winter and Spring without telling me you didn't watch Winter and Spring. Fnatic are definitely the definition of like, hey, I'm a girl. I'll get on my knees and just start blowing you. Ha! Just halfway. You know? It's like if I just got on my knees right now and just started like licking James's ass, but then he tells me to just put the dildo in, but I just don't do it. You can't do that, you know?
What?
That's like Fnatic, guys. What do we say about this team that we haven't said 1,000 times before? They are not ever on the same page. There's games like Razork is just putting his fat meaty cock out, just going balls deep, pounding ass out, destroying it. But then there's games where he gets matched. He gets put behind. He doesn't have an impact. There's games where Oscarinin is just a taco in the top lane, just being a fucking burrito, not doing anything, not making a difference in the lane. Then you have games where Noah and Jun are just existing. There might be games where Jun is a playmaking support. There might be games where he's just kind of just there. There's games where Jun will be like just as what you guys remember minutes from last year at MSI? That's what Noah is. They're basically just the same fat fuck. They just do fat fuck things. They just like Jun will be on Jinx and go like 0-3 and then randomly just go like 10-3 by the game's over. You know? Yeah, he can play like a few more champions now compared to like last international tournament he was at. But I'll be honest here, I don't have that much hope for them. Maybe they might play spoiler, maybe, honestly. But they are playing up against Loud in the first round. So, you know, who knows, honestly. But I just think throughout the tournament, they're just going to be, like, decent. What do you think about Fnatic?
They're going to find a way to shit the bed. I got a bad feeling about this.
Wait, do you think I'm going to get upset by Loud?
Hell no.
Who do they face first, honestly?
Gam. If he's Gam, I think.
Oh, if they lose to Gam, that might be one of the biggest upsets ever, honestly.
Yep.
Good Lord. There's no way they have to lose to Gam. All right, so let's go to G2. I think G2 are going to be better than... I think they won't be at like title contender, but they'll be at where like the OK tier is at. I think G2 coming into the event, they're going to be looking for redemption from what happened with them at Worlds last year. They got, upset by NRG. They had to end up facing BLG, and they ended up losing that. This is their chance right now to prove to, a lot of people that, hey, they're the Western team to look out for. They're the only Western team that can compete. Look at the roster. Look at how well these guys have played. You can also look at how bad they've played it well. Last year at MSI, Caps was like their weakest point, I would say. But now, Caps and Yike were like their weakest points. But now, coming into MSI, it's this year, it's also pretty flipped now, where Caps is like their strongest player. And then, Hansama has had some iffy games here and there, but he's still overall pretty consistent. Mickey X has had some really bad games, but also has some games where he's pretty consistent. So it's going to be a tough way to figure out, like, okay, where is this bot lane really at right now? You know, like, where is this bot lane firmly going to fit in at the tournament? You know, if they can be as strong as they are in the LEC, then like I think they'll do good actually, because I think a lot of how bot lanes are going to be in this tournament are going to be dictated by the wins is going to be coming through their bot lane. Broken Blade, he's usually always pretty just like okay at international events ever since he went to Worlds 2020, you know, with TSM a long time ago. He's been to Worlds 2020. He's been at, obviously, MSI. No, sorry, not MSI. Yeah, he was at MSI 2022 as well. So he's just been, like, okay, generally. What do you think about G2 coming in, actually?
I think out of the four, I think out of the 4 teams that already qualified to the knockout stage, they have this. I don't think they have that much pressure.
Because that's the thing. Yeah,
they just need to beat. If they face it against an LCS team, they need to beat the LCS team. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm trying to see who has the most pressure this year to win MSI. It's not G2 though. Like,
definitely not, because most people are not expecting the West to win anything at this tournament. Actually, I mean, are people even hoping they make a final this year? Actually, that's thing. West hasn't been in a final of an international event since 2019. Actually, you know,
G2.
Yeah, it was actually G2 versus Team Liquid. Then, you know, now they're both at the same MSI this year, man. Hey. Just saying, some magic could happen. No, obviously that's not happening, guys.
Yeah,
so
it could, depending on what side of the bracket they fall on.
Yeah, now if they fall on the same side of the bracket, oh Lord, Jesus. That's the thing is, does this Team Liquid have the same level of upset potential like the NRG team did last year? Because that's kind of how you would have to judge that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. This Team Liquid feels pretty. Like, when they're on, they look strong. When they're not on, I am super skeptical, is what I would say, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do LPL next. Top Esports will be a almost title contender. First, I just think they're the weakest of the major regions for LPL and the LCK. I don't think they're a bad team, like, at all. But when you're looking at the games that they played throughout the split, when you're looking at their playoffs and the best of 5 series that they did play, Cream, I'm a little suspicious or a little, what's that word? Cautious. I don't know how the word you could fucking phrase that, actually. I'm like casually optimistic about how he's going to feel playing up against a large crowd. Because when he was in the finals against BLG, in front of that crowd, he just started making such uncharacteristic mistakes. He started really succumbing to the pressure. People forget factor MSI is at China this year, okay? In front of a big crowd, okay? These crowds are pretty big. They're loud. He was feeling the pressure in his home region in finals against BLG. If he can somehow get over that and can just play his game out, this team will be really strong. 369 was one of the best top laners in the world, like Ben. You also have a TN. I think TN is also a big question mark on if TN is also on the team looks strong, but I do think TN has had many international tournaments where he's looked pretty just shit, honestly. I don't know how people just keep forgetting he's not been that good at international events. You know, in the region, he looks always pretty competent. He's never like the best jungler like he used to be, but he's always competent for the most part. But at international events like I've seen him at for many of these years, he's been just mostly shit in my opinion. You also have the bot lane. This is Mako's first time being at an international event without EDG, and he's playing with Jackie Love. Also his first time being back at an international event since 2022.
Yeah, actually. 2022.
So, yeah, the thing is, they have this weird coin flip style about them where, honestly, if they can hit all their peaks, this could be a very, very scary team. But then again, you also got to factor in, are they as strong as BLG last year as a second seed? I don't think so. But I think there is that level of like people are going to just slightly underestimate them, and then they're going to be surprised by how good they can play. But that also really comes just down to how good Cream can be. If Cream can not just start choking on cock and play his actual game out, they'll look good, honestly. All right. Let's do BLG. BLG are probably the best team coming into this event. Honestly, they honestly have like the best team if you look at it, just by far. Last year they had Yagao. They actually made finals last year. They looked really really good at Worlds last year. They got rid of Yagel. They got Knight. They finally won a LPL title. This is the first time this org ever won an LPL title. Knight obviously looks like one of the best players in the league. You also have been first or second best top laner in the world. Obviously, on still the jungler. Jun still looks really, really good. Super aggressive jungler. Knows how to make practice plays happen. Knows how to put the pedal to the gas, knowing when to position on the map to get his team going. Elkin on the best bot lane by far. Like, these guys just know how to play out every bot lane situation from what I've seen. These guys are just absolutely just animals. Honestly, if they don't make the finals, that's a pretty big disappointment, honestly, for given how strong this team actually is. You know, the only way I see them not making a finals is if, well, basically the LCK team, if they're on whatever bracket, whatever LCK team just plays better, honestly. Because the good thing about BLG also, they have this thing about them where, like, even in a losing spot, they'll still try to find a way to fight it out, like they did last year, actually. So Knight is also defending his MSI title from last year, and so is, well, Ben, no 369 and Knight are. Ben was on BLG last year. Yeah. So yeah, to me personally, I took right now, it's not a surprise people have this team as the best. Like, if you have watched the games, you would understand why this is the best team by far. You know, the only issue is meta. We know at international tournaments, metas can change. If they are not comfortable with the meta that changes, they might actually lose. That'd be the only thing I can think of, besides maybe the LCK teams are just better, or they might face Top Esports on the same side of the bracket, and maybe Top Esports just plays better on that day. What other scenarios do you think they could have where they could lose, honestly? Because that's one, too, I can think of.
Meta preparation.
Maybe Knight just fucks too many girls in China.
Or
stories of that.
Or during scrims, the teams become predictable as complacent. A lot of times during practice, like, I could tell, like, people could tell each other's tells, like, all right, cool. Like, I know you got a bad hand because you start talking a lot. Or, like, with me, when I'm very animated, but, like, if I have a bad hand, I'll let people know. But if I have a good hand, I don't let nobody know. But sometimes I'm the opposite. You can't tell what I got. It's like I switch it up on you real quick. And that's the thing too. It's like, does Top Esports come in? They look good, but then
because there's not as much pressure on Top Esports to win as if it's just like BLG. Honestly, you know, and sometimes that pressure can really get to people. Obviously, so we're gonna have to see. Those are the only three things I can identify if they could lose. Patch changes to the point where they're not really comfortable with the meta, pressure, and just basically, hey, they just lose because one team is just better than them on that day, honestly. All right, let's go to Gen G, my boys. Also a title contender. The reason why they're less than BLGs because their bot lane is weaker than BLGs. Pays and Lehens are not as good as Elkin on. You saw a lot of the positioning errors that Pays was having in his T1 finals, actually, where game one, Gen G are getting him all his resources. He's playing Kalista. He gets mid lane, and then he just gets dove constantly out of position, mispositioning in team fights. Lehen's picking Annie support. But even outside of the Annie support thing, him and Pace have not been on the same page recently. So if they want to win MSI, if Gen G want to finally win their first international event, or if Chobi wants to win his first international event, then they need to make sure their bot lane is on the same page as the team. Because this team, the reason why they're also going to be title contenders, Chovy is having an incredible year, people. Chovy is absolutely clapping the shit out of people, like just demolishing people. Then again, he's also been an international event where he himself has basically succumbed to the pressure of the match. Remember last year where he was playing Akali into Orianna and Nico?
Yeah.
Such a terrible meta pick for him, where he was sitting there saying, like, hey, I can play Akali into this. You sure? Completely off meta read from him, to the point where it's like his team's already down, 0-2 in a series where they have to claw their way back to a game 5. So this is Keen's third international event, 2018 Worlds, 2022 Worlds, and you have this one. Keen also is one of the best top laners in the world. Well, the Asian team just have like the best top laners. They're just fucking great, honestly. I don't know how I don't know how well Keen's gonna do against Ben in 369, but I do know that Keen's a lot better than a lot of these guys anyway. So that's also gonna be a big edge. Canyon, as we know, is insanely strong of a jungler. The reason why last year he didn't play as well on DK is because DK last year was just a complete fucking mess of a team. You can't make that work as a jungler. You saw what he's able to do now with a lot of these stronger players that can complement his playstyle. He's been insanely good as well. So the only reason why I would think Gen G don't win MSI bot lane, and if they come in with a bad meta read in a very crucial best of 5, I better not see this guy pick Akali into Orianna and Nico. That retarded. That was even a thing last year. People say, why did Score get fired? He let Nico and Orianna go through every game. Sorry. Yep. That's just stupid. Get the fuck. That's just bad preparation. As Chess said a while ago. What do you think about Gen G, man?
Gen G, to me, is the favorite to win, but I would not be surprised if they choke. I would not be surprised.
What if they actually get to the finals and they over BLG and they face Top Esports and lose? That would be just like mind-blowing, honestly.
Mind-blowing, but not surprising.
And again, that's what I told people right now. That's why for the most part, that's the reason why I have BLG over Gen G, is because if I actually put in my mind that Gen G might, as a team, choke or Chovy choke collectively, then I've already told myself it was going to happen. So it did happen. Now I'm not actually disappointed, just like a dad would be, in his daughter for being a fucking slut bag, actually, So I'll tell people this right now. Gen G also play really, really good macro,
Yeah.
I also think that given their good macro sense and how they play out the macro, that is going to take a lot of teams by surprise. So if Gen G did end up beating BLG, I wouldn't be surprised either, because I think their macro, and I think BLG is really strong. I think Gen G's macro is just stronger. That might actually be a problem for them going into a best of 5. So it's really just a toss up on what people might think might happen between these two. Given their history at international events, I don't think they get the benefit of the doubt of being the title contender at all. But I do think they'll be in top 4, actually. Chovy has to prove he can win an international event. Chovy would be considered, well, there's a lot of NFL and NBA players like this too. They're like the greatest player to never win. Chovy would, in theory, be like the greatest player to never win. Honestly, he doesn't either win MSI this year or Wolves this year coming up later on. So, what do you think, man?
If Gen G does not win, I'm gonna look at them kind of like the Dodgers before 2020. Do you
think Chovy playing as good as he did this year will finally make a difference, or it's just going to be the same?
See, that's a hard question to answer, because I don't know how to answer that.
We've only seen him do that against. Well, we've always seen him do it. It's just the good Chovy that people are always thinking about never shows up in that specific clutch best of 5 to get him further. He always shows up in everything else. He needs to show up in the best of 5 and play like that when it matters. In that best of 5, whether it's being a winner's bracket, to go to the finals so he doesn't play an extra best of 5, or in the lower bracket run they have, So that's me. All right, last team going on here is T1. I think they are also a title contender as well. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, first of all, they won the last international event. I just want to put that out there. They did win the last international event. People just saw in very, very dominant fashion, actually. Faker has always played well at international events. How many times are we going to be doubting this guy? He always plays well at international events. Always has. Every single one.
Yep.
There is no difference this time around. I think he gets the benefit of the doubt of always being able to perform. Now, is he as strong as Knight and Chovy? Obviously not. But I think given his strength, he's going to be a lot better than all of these guys, personally. Because even last year, even when he wasn't as good as Knight and Chovy, he still actually just handily destroyed every single other person.
I think he's mentally stronger than Chovy.
Yeah. The problem here is if anyone's if T1 faces up against Top, I would just favor T1 in that matchup, honestly. If T1 faces G2, I'm favoring T1. If Team Liquid, obviously APA is going to clap Faker. We've seen that before, right?
Yeah.
So the issue with T1, Zeus, if he can not succumb to the pressure like he was doing in finals or finals weekend, so to speak, then he's also
talented. My thing was Zeus, it was Owner. Go back and look at those games. Owner has some games.
He's pretty sketchy. Yeah. If Owner has really sketchy games, and if Zeus has some really down moments where he's not performing very well, T1 could be in trouble. The bot lane's really not really been an issue. I think the only real issue is like Keria, and they stop giving him his random supports, and just give him Rakan, Nautilus, Leona. Give him Bard. Why does this guy not get Bard anymore? Give him Bard. Let him just carry a game.
Bard does get banned a lot though.
Yeah, you probably do have to ban Bard against him.
Yeah, though. No, the minute you play Bard, you're not playing.
The moment he gets Bard, you actually just lose the entire game.
Yeah.
What else they need to? Oh, you probably shouldn't give them Lucian Nami either.
Depends on what you pick. Like if you pick Aphelios
and Lulu,
that's a weird counter to it. It could work.
Yeah.
Like because Motor's nerfed.
Because I think people are gonna go into this event thinking, "Oh, Genji beat T1 again," so I mean T1 are not going to do well.
But this wasn't convincing. This wasn't convincing. Like, oh my god, Genji beat T1. It was like
it was a very real scenario that they could have lost. I mean, T1 were up 2-1 in the series. Chovy quite literally had to play. I mean, he played it really in soul for them to win. Well, with Constantine game 4 too. So the thing here is people are going to come in thinking that T1 lost to Genji, but as they always do, T1 they always surprise people. It always kind of just routes back to them just being really super dominant. Now, also depends for them. They were able to read the meta and go, we don't want to play that. We just want to play what we're good at. Are they going to do that this tournament? Can they also play what they're good at this tournament? Really just depends on what they want to do, honestly. You know? What's really weird is they lost to Genji in that one game specifically, and they were like, you know what? We're not playing any more of this shit. We're just going to play what we want and just win. Respect. All right. Cool. I guess. So, what do you think about T1, man?
T1 to me is my favorite, but like to win, but I would not be surprised.
I think the most underrated team that could be the favorite right now. If they actually win, I'm not going to be surprised.
No, I think underrated is Top Esports.
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. I would say they're the most underrated title contender right now for a lot of people. If they actually make the finals, I guess I wouldn't be surprised. It'd be like, I'm pretty sure Faker just played. When has he not played well at an international event? Honestly, you know? I'm just saying, like, most games he played in an international event, he's done pretty well. There's been like an odd game here and there where he doesn't do well, but, you know, fucking Dragon X in game 5. Whew, that I'm not letting him ever live down. That fucking Victor build blew my mind, killed me. Fucking hell.
But so, he wasn't even the reason why they lost, though.
Yeah, it's because their bot lane exerted no pressure on Caitlyn and Karma. No pressure.
Exactly.
They played it even. Yeah, I know people blame Faker. He is to blame for that. His Victor build was terrible. But that bot lane, if you pick Caitlyn Karma and you do not push that bot lane, like I'm telling you, shove your dick so far up that girl's ass, her fucking eyes roll back like a slot.
The reason why Faker gets blamed because he's the leader. The leader usually gets the blame.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. Was like why, like LeBron, like why people don't take LeBron James seriously. It's like anytime he gets put blame on, he tries to deflect it. It's like, nah, motherfucker, you the leader of the goddamn team.
Yeah, for me in that game, because I played bot lane a lot, I knew it was the bot lane's fault they lost. There's no way you fucking take Caitlyn Karma. Yeah. You don't. That's the idea of pushing that lane and then shoving it and taking an advantage. They just sat there and played even as a Caitlyn and Varus Karma to the bot lane that DRX. I was like, you can't do that. That's just not why you pick that lane at all. And then also didn't help that Zeus picked Gwen into Aatrox. Good lord, the days. Well. At least you won't have to worry about any of that coming into this tournament. I think they are going to be a team that you people should not be sleeping on, given that the fact that they beat the LPL teams, wasn't it? If you combine the BLG win before, they beat BLG 2-0, right?
Yeah,
LNG 3-0.
3-0.
3-1.
JG 3-1 and 3-0. Yeah.
So that's what, 15-1, right?
No,
13-1?
11-1.
11-1? Holy fucking shit. They actually clobbered the shit out of them.
Yep.
JDG
barely won the game they won.
I'll be honest, JDG didn't even look that good against KT, honestly. KT just gave up, honestly, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I'm saying right now, I said this last year for last year's Worlds, and I'm saying this for some. Just never underestimate Faker at an international event. Just don't do that. Unless he is officially out, then you can start shit talking. But unless this guy's officially out, I'm not counting this guy out ever. Honestly. All right, so that's going to be our MSI 2024 team tier list, actually. Then I'm going to go and predict the first games of the day coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. So you'll be able to watch these at work, won't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and then on Thursday when we have it we'll be able to talk about Wednesday's best of threes on Thursday's show, actually. So LCS kicks it off first. FlyQuest versus PSG Talon. Obviously, I've not seen PSG play outside of what I saw. Honestly, I don't know. That might be a coin toss. Who knows? What if PSG Talon actually win? That would be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yep.
You have a weird feeling that PSG Talon might win. Honestly, I don't have faith in the LCS teams, but to be fair, the LCS teams usually always beat the wildcard teams for the most part.
I have a weird feeling that PSG is gonna put pressure on FlyQuest. I don't think they're gonna beat them.
Yeah, you think it's going to be a 2-1? Honestly,
I think it's gonna be a 2-0.
A 2-0? Okay.
I think FlyQuest is gonna barely beat PSG game 1 and then beat the fuck out of them game 2.
Okay, that's up. FlyQuest 2-1. T1 versus Estral Esports. Match of the week right there, baby. Estral Esports is gonna win, right?
2-0, but T1's gonna come out sluggish in game 1. But Estral's not gonna be able to do anything because they barely beat R7 and they swept R7. And all 3 of those games look like struggle fest. I'm like, I don't understand. In my opinion, even though there's significant lead Estral had, R7 was always find a way to stop them from ending the game. I'm like, oh fuck, okay.
Yeah, those are those kind of 3-0s where it's like that's a 3-0, but that looked like a very, very hard struggle.
That was 3-0, but that was 3-0 because R7's top and Jungle were just so MIA. Now, Summit, where the fuck you at, man? Where you at?
He's in Mexico getting his dick slurped on by a Chokitana.
I still got an APB on him, missing, and half of LG from last year. Where the fuck you at?
Why do you let LNG do that to you, man? Why do you let him live
all these motherfuckers was dick riding a team that had no reason to be like James said, oh, LNG. What was it? He said LNG should have got to the finals or some shit, or they were over. I was like, nigga, LNG was lucky to get to the goddamn quarterfinals.
I think the moment they peaked in playoffs was the moment they were like 2-1 up against JDG and they completely lost the finals. That was their peak right there. And I always said Zika was overrated. I never understood why people thought he was actually that good. He had a few glow up games on Rumble, but like, come on, like that's easy to do, honestly.
And once they started
once they banned Rumble, he looked like he was nothing, honestly.
Yeah, and once he started banning Rumble, he started looking like fucking Tenacity. Come on, son, stop playing. Like he was looking mid. Like, I'm just saying. Like, my bad.
So, we won't be able to talk about these other set of best of threes with us because during Thursday we're only going to be able to talk about FlyQuest, PSG, T1, Estral Esports, Fly versus Gammon, Top versus Loud.
Don't those games come on before the stream starts?
No, we'll be at. You might be right, honestly.
Huh. Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah, it's Wednesday morning and it's Thursday morning. That means we stream Thursday night.
It's true, actually. All right, FlyQuest and Top Esports.
I believe so. Yeah.
Fnatic versus Gam, Top Esports versus Loud. All right. If you don't pick out of that right, anybody's watching this, you're retarded. It should be pretty clear.
Fnatic should be 2-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gam steal a game. Something about Gam scrappy against the Western teams. And Top Esports is going to be Loud, probably the fastest game possible.
This might be like the fastest best of series
I'm not
ever.
I would be surprised if it goes past 25 minutes for both games. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I would say Fnatic beat Gam. I'm not saying pretty handily. I think this might be the biggest surprise of a series because I think Fnatic's playstyle is way too volatile. And I think that could definitely be exploited. Not by a wildcard team, but it could definitely show people, hey, this Fnatic team is like fucking ultra.
I'm going to tell you this is depending on how these players play, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these players don't come back for the summer split, depending on how they show up in this next week. Because these guys are going to have to show up because they didn't look confident in the playoffs. You just lucky BDS is so dog water, like, in a sense, and Vitality just can't do anything. Like,
All right. Now, let's talk about what is the expectation for the LCS and LEC at MSI this year. I'll ask you, what are we thinking about the LEC at MSI this year?
they'll get they'll get a team into the top, they'll get 2 teams in the top 8 and do nothing.
Yeah, I think at the minimum, they should get out of play-ins. At minimum, right?
Yeah.
Right? They'll get out of play-ins,
Yep.
right, Fnatic? You'll get out of play-ins.
Hopefully.
Just saying.
If they don't, somebody gotta get let go.
Shit, finally. I'm just saying right now, if Fnatic don't make it at a play-in stage, you know the LEC is literal garbage. Actual dog shit. Like, this shit needs to be studied by the top analysts in the world,
if
actually.
Fnatic does not make it out of plan, just give an automatic slot to G2 and just tell them to take the rest of the summer off. And then just make it 9 teams and only one team, or no, sorry. Summer is 6 seeds, right? Instead of 8. For LEC, it's 6 teams instead of 8 that make the playoffs, right?
No, I think 6 is that finals thing. 6 is for fucking hell. What's it called? The season finals, actually.
Yeah, that dumb thing.
So you get. So I think the problem is Fnatic, for them to win, I'll be honest with you right now to anybody, just do whatever Razork says. If Razork says get on your knees and suck his fat dick, please do that. I'm not kidding. They need to be on the same page. So many games I've seen from these guys never be on the same page. There's never a game where they're all on at the same time. It's always like, oh, Humanoid is just kind of doing his own thing. And he's like kind of winning, kind of not winning, maybe not winning. Razork is usually just being a burrito, and Noah's just being a fat fuck. And then Jun is just being a Wong Ching Chong. You know? Like, I honestly don't know. Like, they're just a really weirdly inconsistent team. They're not even consistent, honestly. They're just a super inconsistent team, actually. What do you think about G2? Is there any expectations for them outside of just, play better at this international event and not get upset like this one?
Push a team. You're gonna have to push one of those Eastern teams out. You're gonna have to get top 4. You're gonna have to whatever team you have to go for. You'll have to adjust, not bullshit. You need to get top 4. You need to make up from last year, in my opinion. This is crazy. Other than that, they're already in the top 8. That's it's like, just don't get swept. Can you do that at least? Whatever team you go, if you go against the LCS team, beat them and move on. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. Other than that, because I don't got much expectations on G2 because they're already there. My main thing is
I think like they are the best Western team, but the problem is if people are expecting you to at least hit maybe top 4 if you're in that. But the problem with being top 4 is like then we're also asking, can they beat top esports? I think on a good day they probably can. The problem here is like, do you think it's gonna happen? Like, I don't know, honestly.
There's a lot of people saying that G2 is better than top esports. I don't know about that.
Like, I could see a world where they can win maybe a best of 5, maybe in like a winner's bracket, but I don't think they could probably do that consistently, honestly. Like I know their GM Roman was posting, and we beat JDG in scrims last year. Yeah, those scrim bucks,
Yeah, scrim bucks don't mean shit again.
They're the scrim world champions, remember? Actually.
Yep.
So that's my thing on G2 is if you can potentially play spoiler to one of the Eastern teams, maybe if they have a good meta read, maybe if they actually have learned from their last international events. I think also Yike needs to also play a lot more better in certain scenarios. Last year, he was just really invisible. But you can't have that for your jungler. Your jungler cannot be invisible when pressure is getting exerted. It looked like he was just kind of getting walked around the map by every jungler he was facing, kind of like Blabber was. Like, he just didn't know what the hell to do.
I mean, someone with no experience, you're like 18 games when some of these players got hundreds of games. It's like, shit. It's one of those things where it's like, Then you put a rookie onto a team that has championship aspirations. You're like,
yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like that's the thing that G2 have to understand. If you put a rookie in that spot, that's what you get. He's not going to know, But
yeah,
obviously, people say, but he did in the LEC. Yeah, doing it against players like fucking El Yoya is different than doing it against players like
you're rather
doing these
Bo.
things against Owner and Canyon and Zun is a lot different, people. Just
Yeah,
saying that. If you factor in, he was losing to Peanut hard last year, and Peanut is I like Peanut. Peanut's pretty good. If
Peanut
he
was
can't,
trolling.
if he is losing to Peanut on Maokai and getting outpathed by Peanut on Maokai, okay, that is a problem. Like, he just has to understand that there's a spot in the map he needs to be at. He needs to understand if they're doing a play on that bot side, you need to go to another side of the map and make a play. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So I think they'll mostly just live and die by Yike. If Yike has another like invisible tournament where he's just not there, they're gonna struggle pretty hard, honestly. Because most of these international tournaments are always defined by junglers or mid laners, actually. Last one, LCS. Expectations for the LCS, are they not in the damn toilet? Because for me, they usually are, honestly. I don't really care, honestly. I'm only here for G2 and Gen G, guys. I don't care what the other teams really do, honestly.
I don't know what the expectations are, because these are two. I think FlyQuest the expectation is like
they should go in with no pressure. If they go in saying they had pressure from who pressuring you? You FlyQuest.
I mean, technically they did have pressure. The way they looked in the regular season, only to choke in the finals. That it was eyes on you like, okay, all right, guys.
And they were the ones that beat Team Liquid, but that was also a really, really close best of 5 too, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really know if there is pressure on FlyQuest or any expectations for them, honestly. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think they're going to do that well, and I honestly don't think they're going to actually show anything. I think they might have a game where they could have won, like the TL one from last year against T1. That might be their scenarios. But I'll be honest here, if they have that against a really good team, not PSG talent, like even they beat PSG, let's say in the next round they face T1, and they have that kind of game that Team Liquid had against T1 last year when Worlds opened that day. If they lose that game, they're not going to look good. They'll mentally just be distraught. I don't think a team of these kind of players will mentally be able to bounce back if they have a series like that, honestly. I don't know about this Team Liquid this year. This TL is a little bit more different than one last year. But it just depends on what are the expectations for Team Liquid, do you think? Is there?
I think with that one last year, Core JJ was the anchor and he didn't anchor the team well enough. Because after that game 1 and they lost, it just seemed like they gave up. They were done. They felt like it was the best of. They felt like the season ended right there. Like, no, you still got more games. You can come back, but they just looked worse and worse after losing that first game to 2-1, because they was like, oh, we were such in the lead, and then it evaporated. Because
the thing is, last year everyone knew that Team Liquid were probably like Team Liquid and Cloud9 are like the worst teams going into the event, honestly, by far. So this year, people know you're a little bit more stronger. So, like, I don't know. What is the... I guess the expectation for, like, the West collectively is, like, G2's the strongest team. They should be able to win something, maybe. But if you're going just LEC, LCS, I'll say right now, if G2 also lose really, really badly at MSI this year, guys, like, they get, like, blown out or some shit, that goes to show you how dog shit the LEC actually is. Like, I'm saying, needs to be studied by experts about how bad it's gotten over these past couple of years. This has been really bad, But for LCS guys have done basically fuck all the international events. Honestly, if they even make win a series maybe against an Easter team, that's probably considered good. Honestly, last year the only thing people told us was that Golden Guardians beat BLG in one game in a series that they lost, actually, where it was like pretty much like, hey, this guy had to literally just mess up in order for them to win. That's the only accomplishment they had last year. Yeah, how weird that sounds?
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say before we close out, actually? Any closing thoughts about,
none of the West,
or anything?
None of the Western teams should have pressure, in my opinion. Maybe G2, but none of the other teams.
Yeah.
Team Liquid, pretty much, if you lose the series, do not take that as like, because you got double limbs. That's me. This is not like last year in Worlds.
Yeah.
You have a chance to come back. Like I said, when they lost to
The Gen G.
no T1,
Team Liquid. Yeah.
they just never recovered. I just don't see a team that mentally implodes like that. It's like you felt like, oh my god, we lost this game, we're done. It's like, no, God, you still have more games to play, but that's like when you are up 20 and you lose the first game in a series. You still got 3 games. I've seen teams get demoralized game 1 and then just game 2, 3, and 4. They look broken.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it's a
that's anything else with any videos you got planned coming up? Actually,
none planned, but there is some stuff. Once I can get the now I got the mic working again. I just test that out and then I can do the video.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, thank you guys for checking out this episode of the Cloud9 podcast. We are cruising our way through season 11, and we are going to be talking about the 2024 mid-season invitational, which kicks off this week, Wednesday, pretty sure around 1 a.m. PST, actually. LCS starts at first, just like they did last year. FlyQuest versus PSG Talon, and I have been getting some more pre-recorded content recorded for you guys as well. And you guys will be seeing that very, very soon on the Iron Man podcast. If you want to go and watch that show live, make sure to follow me on Rumble, Twitch, and X, actually. And during one of those Iron Man podcasts throughout the week, hopefully on Friday Bangers, like I did last time, going to be clipping out the topics that we do and then uploading those as separate videos for the channel. If you are interested in watching the Iron Man podcast on Rumble, and you see the pre-recorded content there on Rumble, I'm downloading my pre-recorded content from this channel over there currently right now from the point where I started putting up pre-recorded content on Rumble. I'm going to be getting more of that done. Then after that, if you want to watch this show on Rumble, I will be uploading this show to Rumble after I get the pre-recorded YouTube content ready. So it's going to go pre-recorded YouTube content from where I started uploading it, then the Cloud9 podcast, and then I'm going to end up uploading the weekly Roads Galleries show I do with Iron over there as well. So that way you don't have to choose between watching on each platform. You're going to have things the same. So we will see you guys back here once again on the Cloud9 podcast, Thursday, 7 PST. I know for sure we'll be able to talk about Wednesday's games, actually, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to cover Thursday's best of threes as well. So best of luck to all the teams, and I can't wait to flash my Gen G and G2 icons after we get the brand new icons and emotes from this MSI. So yes, we'll see you guys later. And as I always say, if you are a returning or newer viewer, make sure to subscribe to this channel. If you have not already, make sure to leave a like on this episode of the Cloud9 podcast, comment down below, hit the notification bell, and I am MSK, aka Master Swag King. We're signing out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. Make sure to watch on the Cloud9 podcast on the podcasting platforms if you choose to do so.